Okay, welcome back to another video today, YouTube. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get a high-paying job straight out of college. If you are new to this channel, my name is Kisswood. I make videos about my life and photography. So if you could, please just leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get this video started. As a quick disclaimer, I do want to say that I do not want to seem as if I'm showing off. I do understand that we're undergoing still a global pandemic, so it may not be as easy for certain people to have opportunities. There are people who've had their opportunities taken away from them, and I do understand that, and I am apologetic for that. I just thought that I should make this video to kind of give you guys some of the tips and tricks that I used when I was applying for jobs and looking for jobs straight out of college. So a quick background on me. I graduated college last year with a degree in management information systems. Prior to that, I had two internships, one in research for a media company and the other one in consulting. I didn't end up moving forward with either. And I could do a story time as to why I turned down about $100,000 offer in another video. If you guys would like to see that, comment down below. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to necessarily share my salary, but I'm going to kind of give you guys an idea. So I do make above the national average by a good amount, and that's pretty typical in the space that I work. I currently work in the technology space, focused primarily on technical sales, and so the salary usually in tech is probably a bit higher than most other companies in most fields. So I'm just gonna start off by giving y'all some of the tips that I think would be useful for you. So the first tip that I have is to not let your major be the deciding factor on what you think you're able to do, what you're able to get a job in. I think this is super common, especially amongst college kids. Like, oh my God, like I got a degree in marketing. I have to find a job in marketing, and I can't apply for any other jobs. That's not necessarily the case, trust me. I work for a major tech company, and I have people who I work with that were art majors. I have people that were music majors. It doesn't necessarily depend on what major you have. It's just the skills and what you can bring. I think the most important skill that you can bring for almost any company is being able to communicate and communicate effectively, because that's not a job that a lot of people are able to do, is to talk to folks and to convince folks as to why your product is better than the others, or to be able to explain things down to that 5th grade level. So don't let your major be the only reason as to why you feel like you can't apply for a job, or you can't get this job, or you can't go for it. Definitely still apply, because I applied for jobs literally all over the place when I was going through this process. Second tip that I have is to look at companies that are a bit smaller. A lot of people tend to overlook these companies because they're going after the bigger company, the bigger name, to get that huge name on their resume, and that big company may only have $40,000 to offer you, and if you don't want it, somebody else will. Try looking at the smaller companies and looking for those key roles in those companies, because majority of the friends that I have that work for smaller companies are making a lot of money, and some of them are making a lot more than me. And we have the same level of experience, we're in the same age group, and I feel like they're able to really capitalize on these opportunities because a lot of people tend to overlook them. Usually how it works, not 100%, but most of the time, the salary that you get kind of starting off your career can kind of dictate the projection as to how much you're going to make moving forward. So those smaller companies that's paying the 23-year-old or the 24-year-old $100,000 is definitely going to help them moving forward when they're in their 30s and 40s to get that huge salary that they may want later on down the line. The third tip that I have is to attend those small major-based career fairs. And this is primarily for the kids who are still in college. These fairs are by far overlooked. I got my job from going to a fair like that. I was actually on the way to another interview, and because my flight kind of got delayed, I had a little bit more time, and so I decided to stop by this sales career fair. Ended up doing really good, talking to some of the recruiters and getting another interview while I was on the way to an interview. And I honestly couldn't even focus on the interview that I was going to, because I wanted the job that I have now more than the job that I was going to get. Definitely, you know, try to go to those smaller career fairs because people tend to overlook them because they aren't publicized as much as the major career fairs that your school probably has. Usually each major has their own, and like I said, your major doesn't dictate what you're going to do. I'm not a sales major, I work in technical sales. So definitely look out for those fairs and try to really capitalize off of them. The next tip that I have is to not be afraid to be annoying. Now, I'm gonna say this within reason. Don't text a recruiter a million times a day. Don't do that. But sometimes, you know, people forget, and, you know, sometimes our pride may get in the way and we feel like, oh my God, like, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, double message this person. I'm not gonna send this person 2 emails because they didn't see it. You have to think about this. Like, there are plenty of recruiters that are going to hundreds of schools throughout the year. Plenty of people are emailing them because plenty of people want the job that you want. And so if you aren't really keeping your name in their head, how are they going to remember who you are, especially when they talk to 100 people that day? Yeah, you may have said something interesting, so it'll kind of come back to them when they have that conversation with you. But when they're looking through their emails, they're probably not, you know, effectively looking because they have so many coming in. And so don't be scared to, you know, email them twice, like, hey, just wanted to follow up. I sent an email the other day in regards to the job that you had mentioned. I just wanted to know if you were able to review my resume, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And, you know, if they told you to contact them on LinkedIn, if they told you to send them a message, do that, because you might feel like you're bothering them, but their job is to find the best people to recruit for the company that they work for. So if you feel like you're the best candidate, why would you not take a chance on yourself because you're scared to be annoying? Don't do that. Email them, talk to them, you know, reach out to them with respect, of course. Respect their time, respect their privacy, but definitely try to make sure that you capitalize on that opportunity. You being that annoying person may be the deciding factor on whether you're able to get the job that you want or settle for the job that you don't. The next tip that I have is to try to get some internship experience. Now, the misconception, well, I'm not gonna say this for every field because it can be different, especially if you're going into like medicine or something, I don't know. But, you know, my internship experience is not necessarily related to what I'm doing at all. Like I said, I did research for a media company, and then the second internship I did consulting, and now I work in sales. So those are 3 different fields, but every time that I went to a career fair, I was able to talk about those experiences. I was able to talk about what I picked up, what I learned, what I can bring, how it contributes to the skills that you're looking for, and there's just so on and so forth. I feel like it's super important to just try to get some sort of experience, whether it be research, whether it be volunteer work, or whether it be that internship. The next tip I have is to utilize LinkedIn as much as you possibly can. About when recruiting was super heavy, especially for my school. In the fall, it's super heavy around September, October. In the spring, it's super heavy around February. What I did was I activated that LinkedIn Premium for 30 days in the fall, and boy, did I run off. I was emailing everybody who I could. I was applying for all the roles. I was looking at all that useful information that they have on LinkedIn, because some roles, they'll tell you, oh, you know, there's only been 10 applicants. I've gotten interviews because certain roles have only had 4 or 5 applicants, and I felt like my resume would be pretty competitive in comparison to the others. You're gonna wanna know, you know, how you stand in comparison to the other people that are applying for these same roles, because LinkedIn will tell you, oh, you are in the 10% of applicants. Essentially, you get an idea as to where you stand in comparison to all the other people that are applying. So really utilize that feature, especially when recruiting time is heavy and everyone's on LinkedIn. The last 2 tips I have are to, number 1, don't compare yourself, and number 2, know your worth. When it gets to a certain point, I know LinkedIn and everyone just starts to post and you know, say, oh my God, you know, I'm super excited to be getting ready to start a career at here or there, and that can really mess with your confidence. You know, coming from me, where I turned down what to some would have been the dream job or the dream salary, I turned that down, and then I watched a bunch of the people that I knew, a bunch of the people that I was graduating with say I was going to be working for this company, that company, this company. And it kind of beat my ass. Like it took a huge toll on my confidence, but I had to kind of remind myself. I knew what I had to do to get there. I knew what I wanted. And so I was not going to settle for something that I didn't want, but I was also going to remain confident to ultimately get what I do want. If there was anything that you felt that I missed, please feel free to let me know. And if you have any tips that you want to give anyone who watches this video, please comment down below. Also, if you guys want to hear the story about why I turned down that other offer, you know, I can always do a story time about it. I really hope that some of these tips helped you, and I hope that you take advantage of them, and I just wish you the best of luck. And I'm so sorry for anyone who is going through a tough time right now. I think you just got to remain confident and understand that what is for you, and that right opportunity is going to come. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want me to make any other types of videos like this. And until the next one, peace.